my loaning.
Five participants in the conference.
Hello, Lori? Are you on the call?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great. We just unmuted you to make sure that the line was safe, or the line was okay. So we'll mute you for now, and then when you're ready, if you would please hit star star, then we'll unmute you again for your comments.
Sure, that sounds like a plan. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Sure, thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our virtual town hall meeting again. A little quiet here in City Hall. It's only about 7 of us working here, but keeping our social distance. Mr. Campos will join us in a few minutes. He's on a Pennsylvania Municipal League webinar that we're taping for tomorrow about some of the things that cities are doing across the Commonwealth. I want to welcome our council members. All of them are on the line, as well as our controller, city controller Chris Hagel, but Councilmember Volcano, Vice Mayor Brown, Councilmember Milan, Councilmember Ettinger, Councilmember O'Connell, and Councilmember Ruggles. They're all on, so I want to welcome them. If they want to say anything, all they have to do is press star star, and it'll raise their hand. So let me just give you the protocols. The phone number is 484-359-0304. Again, that phone number, if you want to make a comment or ask a question, is 484-359-0304. And I'll ask you for a PIN number. Your PIN number is 870-861 asterisk. I'm sorry, pound sign. Thank you, Mr. Caruso. Pound sign. The asterisk, when you want to speak, you press the asterisk button twice, and it'll raise the hand here on our computer, and it'll tell us that you want to say something or ask a question. So, where are we at in Easton? Well, it's a beautiful sunny day. If you look outside from City Hall, it doesn't look like there's a problem. There's no wind, there's no trees blown down, there's no water in the streets. It's the kind of virus that is invisible, but it's there. The good news is that we're going to work hard, social distancing, wearing masks. Hopefully we're going to flatten that curve. But right now, as you'll hear from Chief Krill a little later, the curve is not flattening too much in the Northampton County area. We do know that on Friday we are opening up to construction and golf courses and fishing and boat marinas and even guided boating excursions, but practicing social distance. And you'll hear us talk about social distancing and that practice for some time, because I don't think even when we do open up our economy, we're going to ask that you wear your masks. But that's up to the governor, but I'm pretty sure that's what he's going to say. As you know, our city revenues are impacted by this coronavirus. We have not gotten any help from the state or federal government and don't expect to. The President Trump has just announced yesterday that he doesn't believe that cities should get money either. And that means a big thing for you as a taxpayer. We're doing our best to close the gap on a $5.5 million expected shortfall this year, but we've furloughed 81 employees already. And as you know, you can look outside. Rain all this week and hot weather next week means one thing: grass grows. So in order to maintain our parks and stuff, we'll start bringing back some people, hopefully by the middle of May, the beginning of June. And other people will start coming back to work. So we can't keep them out forever. We are in the service industry, We provide services to our taxpayers. But any increase in taxes next year will solely be borne and blamed on by the federal government. It's depressing for me being involved in local politics for many years. I believe that mayors and council members and controllers at the local level, supervisors in the townships, commissioners at the county level, we are where the rubber meets the road. We work with our people. We deal with our people every day. I've been getting phone calls. I even got a phone call from Robsville. People don't know where their local government is. People in Bethlehem Township have an Easton address, so they call. People in Wilsonboro or any of the other surrounding municipalities. But all the local municipality officials, I think we all do a good job. As a matter of fact, on the phone call this morning with a number of our other mayors, I think we do too good of a job. We could keep crying wolf, and I do as much as anyone else. The pension legacy costs, the labor costs, the benefits, they're all going up, and we can cry wolf all we want. The fact of the matter is the cities are the best managed levels of government in the country. You go to any city, they're well managed financially. It's once we get to the state and federal government where money is just printed that we've lost the deficits. We don't have a deficit in Easton. Fortunately, over the last 12 years, we've saved some money, and we have $5 million in reserves. We can't use that $5 million all in one gulp. Just to say, okay, we're just going to let everybody work, do other things as if there's no coronavirus. We have to react to it. And we're trying to be as proactive as we can. As a matter of fact, Mr. Campos has just joined us. He gets off the call from the PML, taping a webinar for tomorrow for other municipalities to look at it throughout the Commonwealth to see how other cities, and Easton, as one of the presenters he was today, is doing what our part to meet that revenue gap. So let me also say that according to the Department of Treasury, the U.S. Department of Treasury, this isn't the U.S. Conference of Mayors or the National League of Cities, according to the U.S. Department of Treasury, cities across the nation will see a shortfall in revenues this year of $1.7 billion. We're 5.5 million of that, but the 1.7 billion. And let me tell you, if you don't do your social distancing and flatten that curve, that 5.5 million has at 16% of our revenue has a opportunity to go up as high as 20 or 25%. So the longer the shutdown goes, the longer it is for us. I've had all kinds of people I've read, on social media, people talking about, oh, it's the city's debt. Oh, it's the cities depend too much on our economy. You're darn right we depend on our economy. Our economy grows, we grow. And we've been able to balance our budget on the economy over the last 10 years. Or would you rather us balance it on the property owners, the ratepayers in Easton, when most of the people who come to our city are not Easton residents? I love to have that debate with people because it's the Easton residents who are paying the highest property taxes in the Lehigh Valley, the highest. Our sewer rates are one of the highest. Our water rates are leveling off because we've joined with the Water Authority and the surrounding communities are paying. We're all paying the same amount of money. Our trash rates we've kept level in spite of increasing trash costs and recycling costs. But we've kept all that level for our ratepayers, our property owners, not for our visitors. The visitors are paying, they're paying parking, they're paying amusement taxes, they're paying earned income taxes. Those people are coming in from the outside our city to work and earn their money, their livelihood. We're charging them that 0.45%. Sorry about that. But I would love to have the debate about municipal finance because I think, as much as our intelligent people here in City Hall, I think we're doing what we can to level the cost of government to the local residents. I wish more of our local residents shopped locally in our city and gave our store owners and restaurateurs business. But the fact of the matter is, when I talk to our small business owners, most of their customers are coming from outside of the city. So yes, you're paying for parking, and yes, you're going to pay a little bit more for the parking in Easton, and it may even go up next year. I don't know. We're going to try. Our goal is to balance this budget this year, not next year. Balance it this year. We know what the gap potential is. We fill in that gap. We fix it. now so that we don't have to raise anything next year. But I can't promise that. I was looking forward, as I tell people all the time, this year was going to be a banner year for Easton. I mean a banner year. Over $150 million of new projects were coming online. We're going to be built this year. The good news is that most of them, as far as I can tell, are still moving forward. Hearst expects to start construction on Friday, as they are allowed to. The Commodore project has all of their financing now in place, including the $3 million gap financing that was needed for their state grant that we were able to get. I've not heard about the Benner project, but I'm assuming that's going forward. We just settled today, just today, on the North 3rd Street Boyd Theater parking lot for $1.1 million with the Perone Development Company, who will be building 70 apartments there. That $1.1 million is slated to help the debt on the North 4th Street garage, but and we're trying to stick to that. I mean, it'd be real easy for us to say, oh, let's just use that $1 million. But we've avoided that over the last 12 years, those what we call one-shot financing groups. Because that $1 million will be there this year, but it won't be there next year. It's like paying your grocery bills on a charge card, on a credit card. You don't want to do that. You want to use your credit, whether it's a credit card or a loan or a mortgage, for capital projects. So that $1.1 million will go into something of a capital nature. So the $1.7 billion that cities are losing throughout the country, I assure you that in Easton, every day we meet to talk about city finances and what we expect it to be and how we expect to fill that gap. And that's our pledge to you, is to continue to do that so that we can get through this coronavirus pandemic with an opportunity to come out as whole as possible. And we have some ideas of how we can get that economy jump-started. And I just want you to know that right now we have closed, I don't have those figures here. I did have them. I thought I put them on my sheet here. But we closed on 21 small business loans for businesses in Easton throughout the city, not just the downtown. The neighborhoods businesses were also allowed, and we have several of them who've applied. $170,000 worth of loans have closed this week. They got their checks within a week to maintain their payroll or their utility bills or rent, whatever. An average loan of about $8,100 per small business. I'm proud to say that we are the first city that started that project. Other cities have followed us now and have offered loans to their businesses. We're also offering, through our municipal credit union, anyone who is furloughed from the city and still did not get an unemployment check, which we all know is, you had 60,000 people on unemployment prior to the pandemic, and you have 1.3 million on it now. I mean, obviously, the state cannot ramp up that quickly with staffing to put out 1.3 million versus 60,000. So that we're offering through our credit union $2,000 personal loan. If it's paid off by the end of the year, the city will pay the interest on that. So we're trying to do what we can here in City Hall to not only furlough our people on the negative side, but on the positive side, maintaining health benefits and also this little bit of help that we might be able to get them until their unemployment checks start coming in. As I understand it, those who have received an unemployment check are only getting the state's portion. They're not getting that additional $600 yet. So I don't know how long that will take to get that. So at this point, I'll turn it over to Mr. Campos, who can bring you up to date on anything that he may have. And then we'll introduce Chief Mike Krill. He'll be on the line next to give us the update with all the numbers and some of the reports that he gave us this morning. And then Lori from the Chamber of Commerce will be after Chief Krill.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of things to reiterate what you had said, and a lot of this information is meant just to be a conversation for the public. Some of this information we're going to be presenting more formally to City Council, but like you had mentioned, Easton's in a unique position because 30% roughly of our revenue comes from real estate taxes, where a lot of our surrounding municipalities that percentage is a lot greater, so they can absorb the impact, the economic impact anyway, a little bit easier, if you will, than the city of Easton. And then to that extent, we're trying to manage through this crisis. I think in addition to the update that activity from a fire and police or emergency services standpoint continues to be somewhat low year over year, which is positive. The one thing I do want to mention is that, and I believe you alluded to this point, is that the governor's office has recently put out some new metrics in terms or guidance for opening up our economy, and I'm going to let Chief Krill talk about that shortly. But all indicators look that we'll be in this type of environment, maybe to sometime maybe into the beginning of June or late May. Now I can't predict with any certainty what that looks like, and myself, like yourself, and like everyone else out there in the public, we're watching the data closely as it comes in, so it helps us make some decisions. But it looks like right now that we'll be holding steady until at least these numbers subside, unless there's some new guidance out there in which municipalities can follow. Other than that, Mayor, that's all I have right now as an update, unless we have some specific questions. I'm going to turn it over to Chief Krill, as you had mentioned, who will talk a little bit in more detail regarding COVID-19 updates.
Hello, Chief Mike Krill. What I'm going to try to do this afternoon is try to merge together the governor's report on reopening standards along with our current status here in Northampton County. One of the things that the governor has put out as a target to start reopening the state by regions is that we have to have fewer than 50 new confirmed cases per 100,000 population over 14 days. What that equates to is approximately 11 cases, an increase of 11 cases per day on average for 14 days. To compare where we are, over the last 14 days, we've been ranging between mid-40s to the mid-60s. We've had a few bumps up, a few bumps down, and then over the last 2 days, we saw a marked decline. We went from 64 to 33 down to 21. That looked really good. We were what I think was on our way to a number which would be coming a little bit closer to the governor's parameters. Today, though, we had a jump to 136 new cases. Now, the Department of Health is investigating why that jump has occurred, but just looking at the newspaper reports, it seems like this might have something to do with the reporting from the county's Graysdale facility in Upper Nazareth Township. That significant of a jump is quite large. And I was looking at some data from the hospitals, and it doesn't seem like our hospital information has changed that significantly. So I'm thinking that these might be positive patients that are housed in the Graysdale facility. But we will see as an investigation does occur as to why it has jumped up that significantly. And we'll also see where it continues over the next couple of days, whether that 136 was just an anomaly or a trend back up. And I hope it was, in fact, an anomaly. The other things that the governor is looking at to reopen a region is that enough testing is available. And one question that I have is we're going to start to go into a phase where more testing becomes available. Exactly what the parameters for that testing change to in the future, I don't know. Right now, it's still a matter of having to show signs or symptoms before you can get tested. I believe the governor's looking for some wider spread of testing. That would especially include high risk folks, like in nursing facilities, healthcare personnel, and first responders. So they're going to be looking to test those people on a larger scale in the near future. The problem with that is, and my question, I guess, to the governor, is when they set that 50 confirmed cases per 100,000 population over 14 days, did they take into consideration that as testing ramps up, we're going to see more positives, even though they may not be positives that are hospitalizations, they're still going to track as positives, and will that slow down our ability to go into recovery mode? So that's one question that has to be answered down the road. The other things that the governor is going to require is that there is a robust ability to investigate and contact trace positive cases. One of the disadvantages we have here in Northampton County is that we don't have a public health entity in Northampton County at the county level. So I would assume that our direction is going to come from the State Department of Health, and how that's going to work and who's going to organize the people that are brought on to do the tracing is still a question to be answered. The third part of it is identification of high-risk settings, including correctional facilities, personal home care facility or care homes, skilled nursing, and other congregate care settings. We here in Easton have already begun on one of those areas, and that is the area of personal care facilities and nursing, skilled nursing. We have three of those facilities within the borders of Easton. We have been in contact with all three. We have been asking them for information about their staffing, their screening procedures, and their supplies of PPE. We have been working with them. Obviously, we're responding to those facilities for incidents, and we're making sure that we, as first responders, conform with their standards to enter the facility. We don't want cross-contamination to occur in case we happen to have someone that's unknowingly positive. The other thing is we're very careful entering those facilities, and we've actually set a standard where we're trying to have the personnel from the facility actually move the patient to a lobby or to a area where we can treat them without having to have contact with other patients or elder care individuals. So we have been working with them a little bit, but that is another area where the state is going to look at to determine if an area is ready to reopen, and that's to protect the most vulnerable. As far as the numbers go in Northampton County right now, as of today, there were 1,970, just under 2,000 confirmed COVID cases, and our death toll due to COVID has risen to 80. Again, we've had a bump up in fatalities. Yesterday, the number was up 14, I believe it was. Yes, 14. So that may also have corresponded with some of the fatalities that occurred in some of the nursing facilities. But we'll have to see it after the investigation is complete. So that's about all I have. Thank you, Mayor and Mr. Campos.
Thank you, Chief Krill. You guys are doing a great job up there, you and Chief Hennings and the crew. Keep them safe. Our police and fire, as you all know, the residents know, are out there. Our fire not only goes on fire calls, but they also go on EMS calls. So whenever there's an emergency, medical emergency, they're there. So I'm glad to see they're cooperating. And today, our fire department worked with Wilson Fire Department, Palmer Fire Department, and all the area EMS organizations, and having a nice tribute to the workers out, the healthcare workers out at Easton Hospital. And I thought that was great. I saw the video, and that one of the nurses put on the Facebook, and it was really pretty good. So thank you for doing that. The healthcare workers, and it's not just the nurses and the doctors, it's also staff, it's janitors, it's the people who work in the cafeteria, it's the people who are orderlies, and they're just doing a great job and putting their lives on the line every day to help others. So we should be thankful for them, as well as all the other essential workers like our police and fire who are out there going on these calls as well. Before I get to Lori from the chamber, I know she has something. I'm going to give the number again. Meeting protocol. The phone number is 484-359-0304. With a PIN number, when it asks you, is 870-861 #, or number sign, whatever you want to call it. And then if you want to speak or make a comment, you press asterisk, and that'll raise your hand on our computer, and we'll know that you want to speak, and we'll unmute you to ask you a question. So at this time, Mr. Campos, you have anything else to add? Okay, Lori from the Chamber of Commerce, how are you?
All right. Thank you so much, Mayor. Hi, everyone. Lori Nelson here from the Easton Chamber of Commerce. I just want to say thank you so much to Lewis and, of course, Mayor, for putting on this town hall every week. It's very beneficial, and we appreciate your leadership always, but especially now during this unprecedented, crazy time. We've been working closely with you guys, so I just want to say thanks so much. You guys are doing great. So thanks for having me on the call. I just want to let you guys know, Chamber's here. We're working remotely, but, we're still here to assist in any way that we can. So phone call, text, email away. We're not in our office, but made myself a nice office at home. So we're here for you. I just want to let our businesses know our public policy team is lobbying for you. There was actually an article published this morning in Lehigh Valley Live asking for a different approach than the regional aspects for reopening. So obviously we want to get back to business. We want our businesses to get back to thriving, back to kind of our new normal, where we'll be doing that as soon as we are able to safely do so, following all the safety precautions, of course. Chamber-wise, we find ourselves, this is one of our, typically our busiest times of the year, and we are unable to host events. So, what do? We pivot. So essentially, our team has become quite the webinar aficionados. We have a library on our page, so if anybody is interested, there's a couple of there on there. If there's anything that sounds interesting to you, you can visit our website. There is a resource. We actually record all of them. So as far as the FFCRA, the Family First Coronavirus Response Act, there's one on the CARES Act, the PPP and the EIDL, loans, everything's turned into alphabet soup. So there's lots of acronyms out there. There's a technology toolkit for working from home, since, we are stuck here for a little bit longer, and a mental and behavioral health impact of COVID. So there's a bunch of them on there. So if any of those ring a bell or sound like something you'd be interested in, by all means, check out that website. I also wanted to mention our COVID relief fund. The Chamber has put out checks of $1,000 to about $1,500 to small businesses. They're gifts, or rather grants. They don't need to be paid back, but they can be used for rent, payroll, utilities, whatever it is that would be able to keep the lights on for small businesses. And It doesn't have to be chamber members. It's any member of the community that, just needs a helping hand kind of thing. We did 2 phases so far. The third phase actually just went live Monday morning. And so far we've given out about $300,000 for businesses that, need it. What else do we have here? A couple other things. We have a couple of campaigns to help promote the business community in the meantime. So we're promoting a gift card grab week. That's going to be celebrated from May 3rd to the 9th. Essentially, we're just putting it out there, promoting any businesses that are offering any type of gift card deal. And so we're putting it out there on our social media pages as well as our website. We've created the hashtag OpenWeStandLV. We have a couple of billboards, and I'm sure you've seen the hashtag online. It's just our way of kind of helping out the community, even though we can't be feet on the street. And then we did the Ethnic Takeover Weekend, which was hashtag EastEthnicLV. And one of our downtown businesses right in Easton said that they saw a 30% increase in their takeout business that weekend. So we're happy to hear those kinds of numbers, because anything that can help, we're here for it. So we're open to ideas too. So if anybody has ideas, by all means, but we're happy to take that on. And then lastly, getting back on track, our Easton Mayor's Breakfast was scheduled for right before, a couple days before the mitigation mandates and social distancing guidelines all came into the picture. So we're looking at rescheduling that to either the first or second week of August. Obviously, we all love to hear from Mayor Panto. So I know our business community can't wait to get back to, what we need to do. Of course, we're going to be following all the necessary precautions and revisiting what that's going to look like, whether it has to be remote or if everybody's going to be masked. I'm sure we could get a face mask sponsor or something. So just a little bit of an update from me, and that's about it.
Thank you, Lori. I know that the Chamber's doing a great job. Very busy, very active, trying to be not only the voice in our lobbying efforts to reopen the economy, but also helping people, small businesses financially, and as well as just constantly promoting the Lehigh Valley as a great place to do business. So thank you for your help.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate it.
And take care of that little one.
I will.
Who didn't make any noise during the whole conversation?
Oh, yeah. Her daddy has her right now.
Oh, okay. All right, let me make a few announcements. We do have a caller, so why don't I take the caller first? 2 callers? Okay, we'll take them first. Okay, the first caller is on the line. They have to tell them who they is because they don't know.
Your phone number ends in 5175. Oh, looks like they may have hung up. No, we lost him. Okay, there is another caller, though. We'll be taking caller, and your phone number ends in 3670. Hang on a moment.
Hey, Mayor, Council. Hi, Mayor, Council. It's Takesha Thomas with WFMZ. Just had a quick question for Chief Krill. You mentioned the count of cases in Northampton County, and the death toll was 80 as of today. Do you have a number on the number of Easton patients that have unfortunately died?
I do, and I thank you for reminding me because I forgot to give that statistic. As of today, the count of Easton residents that have succumbed to COVID is 11.
Wow.
Okay. Thank you so much. That's it.
Sure.
Thank you. And thank you, Chief Krill. That's considerably higher than it was last week. So I have a couple announcements. There's no callers on the phone. If you want to call, it's 484-350-304. 359, I'm sorry. 359-0304. I didn't give you enough numbers. Again, it's 484-359-0304. PIN number is 870-861#. On May 9th, the May 9th event has been postponed. It was a bike, walk, roll, and bus event sponsored by the Coalition for Appropriate Transportation. It was originally scheduled for May 9th. It's going to be postponed. This is a great event that I have not promoted because I didn't think it would take place. But I will be participating throughout the city. We're going to be taking a bike ride, a walk, and then a roll. And I'm not sure what that is right now. And then we're going to get on a bus, Atlanta bus, and we're going to come back. So we're going to go throughout the city on promoting the fact that there's other means of transportation, not just your own automobile. Also, the street sweeping program is postponed until August the 1st. City council meeting that was scheduled for Wednesday, May 13th will not be held. Our next meeting will be on May 27th. This Saturday is the opening of the Easton Farmers Market, but it will not be in Center Square. It'll be on Long Larry Holmes Drive in Scott Park because it gives us a greater area that the Greater Easton Development Partnership and the Easton Farmers Market can set up the vendors so that they're safe distances apart. Whereas in a circle, they're very crowded, as we all know, and people are on top of each other. They do have social distancing in place with way to get in. Vendors are only taking care of one person at a time. Everyone's going to be have to wear a mask, and you won't be allowed in unless you do get a mask. So please remember to bring your mask with you. It's going to be different. You know, it's our 268th year. And the good news is you don't have to hear Bob Freeman and Sal Panto speak at the opening ceremonies. But the town crier has done a video. He's on social media if you want to see probably one of his last videos, because Dave and his wife Kim are both retired now, and this summer they'll be moving out of the city to be closer to their children, which is the grandparents' new norm. But we're going to be putting out advertisements when this pandemic is over for a new town crier, and I will tell you, you will have a real difficult time filling the shoes of David Rose. I was proud to appoint him. It was probably 10 years ago, and he's done a fantastic job. But the farmers market is this Saturday at Scott Park. If you come down, please remember to stay within 6 feet of each other. Remember to wear your mask, and there's not going to be any congregating. There's not going to be any socializing like we have. People who have, sit at the table, they get something to eat. They're there for a couple hours. I know myself, my wife and I come down. We're not there for just 10 minutes. We're there for a while. It's become a real socializing or socialization event, and which is great. I mean, there's no doubt about that. People that I haven't seen for a long time, I see on Saturday mornings. They're coming in from the townships and the boroughs, and it's really great to see them down there. However, we're not going to be doing that today. This year, we want you to get your food, buy your fresh produce, your healthy living style, and be on your way. Not the best way to do things in our city. We're people here in Easton, but it's going to be the new norm for this year's Easton Farmers Market. It's our 268th year. We are the oldest continuously operating outdoor farmers market in the country. Started in 1752, and I want to remind you that also there was a question. The police chief had a question came from him about the residential parking permits for the courthouse, College Hill, and the downtown area. Some are expiring. No, there's no one to renew your permit at the city police. The traffic department has been furloughed, so you will have, from the time it opens back up, when parking starts to be enforced again, you will have 30 days, just like you have right now, 30 days from the time the state government opens up the economy for inspections and license registrations. You'll have, in Easton, we're going to give you 30 days to get that processed. So, any other calls, Mr. Lisinecki? So, there's no other calls. Mr. Campos, you have anything to finalize?
There's no virtual meeting next week.
This is the last. We did do them in April. This is the last virtual meeting. Okay, we have a question on the phone. Please identify yourself. Go ahead, Kurt.
You can hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Hi, it's Kurt from Express Times. We have you live.
Hi, Kurt.
I have a question for you. We learned that over the weekend the Guardian Angels were in town. Do you have any information on what their whether they've been a constant presence in Easton over the past couple of years, or if this is like a new thing where they're trying to do some outreach in the community?
I have no idea. The Guardian Angels, the only group the people I talked to in the West Ward, I don't know that they had anyone in for the weekend. I can't verify that or confirm it.
No problem. And we're also wondering, will Eastern churches be taking part in the Bells Across Pennsylvania this Sunday, like the churches in Allentown and Bethlehem are, to your knowledge?
Yeah, that's a event of the Pennsylvania Mayors Association, and we are going to put something out about that tomorrow, asking sending something to all of our churches, asking them to be a participant.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else? Okay, yeah, it's a great event, to just sort of show solidarity, and we'll be doing that on Sunday, asking the churches to ring their bells at 7 o'clock. And I know the churches are doing a lot right now. Most of their services are online, but they're also doing a lot to help our less fortunate members of society, which may not just be the homeless. It's also people who have not been working for 3 or 4 weeks and have not gotten a check. So we're very concerned about that. The last thing I will mention is that I do know that the county, we did give the county our 3 locations for the porta potties for the homeless and the hand sanitizing stations. And I know that if they're not all out now, they're working on that. But I know at least one set is out there. They are working with a porta potty company to get them out. Okay. Thank you all. This will be the last one for some time. The next virtual meeting will be of City Council on May 27th, but we are here. My email address is spanto@easton-pa.gov. It's on the website. If you can't remember it, you have any kind of concerns or questions, we do have a skeleton staff other than police and fire. I should say police officers and firefighters. They're clerical people, aren't there? But if you have any concerns, we're still getting to them. We may not get to them as fast as normal, but we'll be out there. So please give me an email, spanto@easton-pa.gov, or go to our website, easton-pa.gov, and go to the group that first it's on the front page is government, and you go into the government section, go to departments, and every department is listed. And when you scroll over it, you'll see that it is highlighted. So if you want to send the code department an email, you just send it to the code department, and the code officials will get it. Okay, be safe, stay healthy, and have a great day. God bless.
The host has disconnected. The conference will now end.